And that's why I call her AR-15.
I give you scrap the very next day. You boom, 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 boom.
Guys, thanks for coming in. Hillary, before Conyers stepped down yesterday, Nancy Pelosi was on Meet the Press. Here's what she said on Meet the Press during that interview. Listen to this, please.
John Conyers is an icon in our country. He has done a great deal to protect women.
Do you believe John Conyers is a...
I don't know who they are. Do you? They have not really come. That's for the Ethics Committee to review. But I believe he understands what is at stake here, and he will do the right thing.
You sent some of that interview around yesterday with a simple word attached to it, Hillary. No. What did you mean?
Well, I thought that Nancy Pelosi should have been stronger in condemning what John Conyers is said to have done. I think that the issues around Congressman Conyers, and let me just say for myself, I have known this man 35 years. I've, cared about him. I've worked with him closely on music, and he's a jazz lover, and when I was in the music business. So I know him well. But the charges against him are much more serious than they are against Al Franken, with his hand on a butt during a picture. I mean, these are women who said that John Conyers sort of took them to hotel rooms, put him on his congressional payroll, intimidated him as an employer. Those are very serious charges that go right to his service as a member of Congress. I thought Nancy Pelosi should have been more aggressive. I know that's where her heart was, and she, I think, was conflicted about protecting her caucus. I think later, when Congressman Conyers stepped away from being the ranking leader on the committee, I think he did it in part because he recognized that he was putting his colleagues like Nancy in a very difficult position.
As I mentioned, Angela, of course, you're the former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus, a caucus he's one of the founding members of.
Yes.
Our CNN reporting from MJ Lee today is that caucus members, they aren't feeling good about this whole thing. What are you hearing?
Well, a number of things. One is I think that it's unfortunate that yet again we see the hypocrisy in the Democratic Party. There's no call for Al Franken to resign. He's also a ranking member on a subcommittee on judiciary that's very, very important. But there's been no call for him to step aside an investigation that is non-existent right now. There have just been calls for an ethics investigation on his part, and there is literal photo evidence of Al Franken doing the same thing. But let me tell you what's different, Kate. Political expediency. This is the problem with the party. This is why people see us as the same as Republicans. You have to treat these things fairly. And what I will tell you as the former CBC executive director is that far too often our members who are the most senior ranking, our members that have the most desired position in the House, get targeted in very strange ways. There were ethics probes while I was the CBC executive director. 4 of the 6 ethics investigations ongoing were for African American members. Are you going to tell me that black members are more unethical than white members? I would tell you no. And so I'm not finished. I would ask this party to really take a hard look at what is really different here. I stand with the 12 members, not just of Mr. Conyers' personal office team, but former Judiciary Committee staffers who are very senior ranking, who have never experienced, I'm sorry, but this is really frustrating, never experienced Mr. Conyers doing anything like this. So I'm not saying that this woman is wrong, but what I am saying is that the Democratic Party needs to take a hard look in the mirror and treat these situations fairly.
Let me just respond to one quick thing, which is I do believe that Al Franken should be stepping down from his minority position while there is an investigation. I think they should be treated equally with regard to an investigation. I was saying that I don't think the offense is equal. That's all. And
I beg to differ with you, Hillary. I also think
you can differ, but because the woman
we can
in that
say that pedophilia is not as bad as grabbing someone on the behind. But I'm telling you that there's no place for either, and there's no place for what is alleged against Mr. Conyers.
I'm responding to what that woman in the picture herself has said, and so I do believe victims' voices are the ones that should lead us here, and that was why I made that distinction. But I totally support Angela saying that members who are going through these charges need to step away and not put their colleagues in this position of having to choose among them in terms of deciding what behavior is worse or better, because none of it is good.
It's important. I'm glad we're having this conversation, though. I think it's really important.
It's very
Angela,
important.
thank you so much. Hillary, thank you both very much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I give you